Hello, readers. I'm not sure if anyone is here yet. This is the first time I'm live streaming on StreamYard. So hopefully this is going live now on my YouTube channel. Let's check. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, good. I'm live. But no one's here yet, so I'm gonna give it. Oh, now we've got one viewer. That's good. Can you hear me? This is my first time doing StreamYard, so I have to get used to how this works. Let's open the private. Oh, here's a chat, so feel free to message in the chat that you can hear me well. Let's see. Just gonna give it a minute or two until more people. Oh, there's a it's in the there's the comments. Oh, thank you. Abdul Ram Al Gambi. Thanks for a background. So for you, if you didn't know, so this I've live streamed before. It's been over a year since I've live streamed, but this is the first time I'm live streaming with StreamYard. So usually I've been live streaming with my phone, but if I'm this time I'm actually live streaming with my computer. I got a new computer recently, actually, and you can live stream with your computer. And there's this application that the YouTuber and my YouTube friend William's Library introduced me to called StreamYard, where I can live stream like this on the computer, and it allows me to give these cool effects. So I'm actually in my father's room at my father's place right now in Belgium. So I live in the Netherlands, but right now I'm on break in Belgium, and he's been nice enough to let me use his room to do this 1,000 subscriber live stream. So yeah, I found this stock image library. So that's nice. So to present a bit who I am. So the Avid Reader YouTube channel has been going on since May of 2020, and I posted about a couple hundred videos. In the past year, there's been a lot less videos, so this year it's been only about a video a month. But there's been amazing subscriber growth. Hi, NRWT. Hi, where do you stay in Belgium? I'm from Brussels. So I did grow up in Belgium, and I'm very close to Brussels, actually. So I'm in I'm not gonna say exactly where, but I'm in a town. I'm in one of the border towns on the Flemish Walloon border. So I'm like in southern Flanders, right next to Brussels right now. So yeah, that's nice. Yeah. So I'm not in Brussels, but I'm right next door. I'm somewhere between Brussels and Waterloo. So that's what I'll say. But that's nice that you're from Brussels, and our WT Vivel Word. No, that's not the word. Yeah. Uh, yeah. So for those who didn't know, I lived actually for the first 14 years of my life in Belgium. So I spent most of my school years here. And after that, I lived 5 years in Sweden. And right now, I've actually been living 2 years in the Netherlands. Yeah. So, yeah. And I actually went to a Comic Con called Facts today with my father and brother, and I got some things. I didn't buy any books actually. I got some. Tu parles français? Yeah, yes, I actually speak French. It's one of my mother tongues. When I speak with my father, I speak in French. I mean, I'm half French Canadian. My father, he's born and he grew up in Quebec, in Canada. So oui, je parle français. But I do my studies in English. But my first 8 years of schooling were in French. So yeah, I do speak French, and it is technically my mother tongue, but I'm not good at writing it at all. So yeah, if you look at my writing skills, I'm pretty good at writing English, I'm decent at writing Swedish. That's my other modern tongue, and my French is horrible. So I can write French. It's just every sentence I write, I make a grammar mistake basically. So even though I did most of my schooling in French, I suck at writing French. And ook Netherlands. No, I actually don't speak Dutch. Which is odd because I did grow up in Flanders, technically not Walloon, but I grew up in one of those counties that's bilingual, and I went to school in French. So I went to a French Catholic school, and I also spent a lot of school years in the French section of the European school in Brussels, but I do not speak any Dutch. I did uh, 2 or 3 years Dutch in middle school, but I was really bad at it. So I don't know any Dutch. And now, even though I'm living in the Netherlands, I'm so lazy that I'm not bothering learning Dutch. I don't know something cut out briefly. Hopefully the Wi-Fi is okay. Hopefully everyone can still hear me. But no, I do not speak any Dutch. I speak more Italian than Dutch, and I've actually speak more Korean than Dutch. For those who don't know, I'm actually learning Korean right now. Yesterday, I actually went to something called went to a K-Wave event, so I got this. I don't know if you can. Yeah, this fake Korean passport. Can everyone still hear me fine? Just so I know, I'm not sure how the connection is here. So I'm actually learning Korean in my free time. I didn't have that. I only have one subject this block at university in the Netherlands, so I'm actually taking Korean Saturday classes. Yeah, this screen is working. Interesting. Yeah, interesting effect. Yeah. So yeah. Um, so feel free to ask me any questions. This is what this live stream is prepared for. I haven't prepared that much things to talk about. I did bring along what I actually bought at FAX and some of the things I did yesterday. But yeah, this live stream is mainly if anyone want to ask me any questions, or if I can also expand upon anything you want to know that I've asked uh, in that I've answered in the comments. Why? Why dot? What do you mean why dot? Huh. Why did you start reading libertarian economics and not something else? So I became an avid reader in late 2018. So I wished for 2 Christmas books for Christmas. So I wished a book called The Dictator's Handbook. Loud and clear. Thank you, Abdul Rahman Al Gamdi. So I wished for The Dictator's Handbook and by what is it, Bruce Moyes, this Mesquita and Alistair Smith, and then the book How Few Remain. But my father actually got for me for Christmas the book Road to Serfdom by Friedrich Hayek. So the first, hello, avid reader. Hey, Rustam. Hey, this is my fellow student from university, who's an interesting person to talk to. But yeah, the first economics book I read is Road to Serfdom by Friedrich Hayek. And for those who didn't know, my family, at least by European standards, they're all on the political right. So it's maybe natural for me to start out with reading libertarian stuff. My father also kind of had some libertarian leanings, and when I talk politics, when I talk politics with someone in my family, it's usually him. But thank you, guys. Do not forget to like the stream. Thank you, Rustam. So your father hates socialism. I'm not Well, he certainly doesn't like communism for sure, and I don't like socialism either. But he's not a diehard libertarian, and I am less and less so a diehard libertarian. But he works in finance, and if you work in finance, then usually you don't like socialism because yeah, it's not the typical job you work in if you're a socialist finance. I mean, socialists usually hate people who work in banking or finance because they're viewed as greedy capitalists or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, also I'm someone who's extremely individualistic and introverted, if you didn't know. So libertarianism just comes naturally to me, I would say, because I'm an individualist at heart. So libertarianism is the logical philosophy. But I've been reading more and more, and in high school I got into international relations through my teacher. So that further nuances things because my international relations philosophy is not libertarian at all. I'm an internationalist, so on international relations, I'm probably center left. And yeah, I've been reading more over time, so I've just been moving away from libertarianism gradually. So I'm still relatively lib- I'm still a moderate libertarian, but I'm not a minarchist like I used to be. So yeah, that's why I used to be a libertarian. Yeah. And I've also read a lot of libertarian books that I just enjoy, like Capitalism and Freedom by Milton Friedman, Henry Hazlitt's Economics in One Lesson. That's the a very simple libertarian economics book that's very convincing and that I still agree with a lot. So yeah. Let's see next. Abdul Rahman, do you read multiple books or one at a time? So it depends. Usually I've read multiple books at a time, but sometimes I either read one or two books at a time. So right now, for example, I am reading House of Cards by Michael Dobbs, and that's the only book I'm actually reading right now. But I'm gonna start reading another nonfiction book soon, and probably The Struggle for Taiwan. That's the next book nonfiction book I'm gonna read. But even though this is technically not a book, this is a yeah, this maybe works better. So even though I'm only reading one book at a time, I'm also reading Foreign Affairs right now, which is a magazine, which is a mini book kind of. It's a couple hundred pages. So yeah, it depends. Usually I read one or two books at a time. Uh, I actually did sometimes read three or four books at a time. But yeah, I would say the standard is to read two books at a time for me because usually I read one fiction book and one nonfiction book because it's too heavy to just read one or the other only. Oh, although my name is long, you pronounce it correctly. Just call me Abdul Rahman. Oh, that's good. I'm happy I can pronounce that correctly. Fun fact, by the way, when I went to that Korean event and I did pronounce some Korean names by reading Hangul, they said that I pronounced their names quite well, so that my Korean pronunciation was basically almost perfect. So it's good if I can pronounce names correctly. Um, Rustam, I would say that Western European states are very close to be categorized as socialist states. No, I would not agree with that. I believe, for example, in if you look at the index of economic freedom, which is basically how much capitalist a state is, a lot of European countries are way more capitalist than the United States is. And they have socialist elements such as the world welfare state, the goal towards equality, or a lot of government regulation, but they don't. Most means of production are privately owned, and still a big independent business sector. You have strong property rights. Belgium has among the strongest property rights, for example, in the world, I think. Same thing with Finland. Um, there's a lot of things in Belgium that are barely taxed, like I think it's don't remember it's what, but it varies by European country, but no, they're not socialist, usually. The countries that are closest to socialism in Europe are the dictatorships like Belarus or Russia, maybe. Or the more, yeah. We don't really have socialist countries anymore. We have mixed market economies. So they have elements of socialism and capitalism, in my opinion. Um, and RWT, Rustam, yeah, it's mixed. Variety of capitalism. I'm not But I wouldn't say yeah, varieties of capitalism, but varieties of capitalism, that just means that you have a spectrum from full-on free market to full-on communism. And in between, you have a mixture of capitalism and socialism. You have no country that's purely capitalist or socialist in the world. No, really. So the most capitalist country right now is probably Singapore. The most socialist one is North Korea. But even those countries, there's still a small element of capitalism or socialism in it. Um, NRWT, why did you choose Korean? So I don't know if you know this, but I'm actually a very big K-pop and K-drama fan. I'm also fascinated by Korean culture and history just in general. So when I went to Fax, I bought a bunch of things, and I'm gonna show them now. What I bought. Let's see. So, but for some reason, I'm just fascinated by Korea in general. I think it's a very interesting culture. It's also my hobby. Whenever I go on a walk, I usually listen to K-pop. Whenever I eat breakfast or lunch or dinner at my apartment, I'm watching a K-drama. So I watch a lot of Korean shows and a lot of Korean music. The surface level reason I want to learn Korean is just so I can understand the K-dramas without reading the subtitles all the time. But I also find that Korean is a fascinating language. East Asia is also a fascinating region. And learning Korean is probably the easier of the three languages of Northeast Asia, Chinese, Korean, and Japanese. I might learn Korean, no, I might learn Japanese and Chinese in the future because I might want to specialize as a East Asian international relations historian. But Korean for me sounds easier because first of all, it's Hangul is just an easier writing system. There's a few more characters. It's about the same amount of characters as the alphabet, the Latin alphabet, while Chinese or Japanese, it's just thousands and thousands of characters. And I just find the Korean alphabet pleasant. So, for example, this is one of the cards I got at Fax. This is Lino from Stray Kids. And where did I put the rest? I bought. Yeah, I just bought a bunch of. For those who didn't know, I bought a bunch of K-pop cards today. So I love K-pop and I love K-dramas. I've liked them actually for a while now. I've started watching K-dramas a year and a half ago, and I've listened to K-pop for several years now, ever since I've come to the Netherlands, and it's been a growing and growing interest for me. Actually, today at Fax, I asked that someone actually drew for me one of the characters from K-drama I love. So one of my favorite K-dramas is Vincenzo, and this is a drawing of him I got at Fax. And the girl there was nice enough to give me. I didn't have any cash on me really, so this should have cost 10 euro, but she was nice enough to give it to me for free. So yeah, some people in Belgium are very friendly sometimes and laid back. So that's nice. Uh, let's see. Rustam love from North Korea. They trade their soldiers for food from Russia. Yeah, North Korean soldiers are now in Ukraine fighting. And South Korea might retaliate. We'll see how they do that. But yeah, North Korean soldiers are gonna get killed now by Ukrainians. So yeah, another war for North Korea, the worst country in the world. Um, Rustam, Korean just has an alphabet making it easier to learn. That's true. So, and this is not a joke, what I'm about to tell you. The Korean alphabet was invented by a Korean king, I think in the 15th century, King Sejong. And he invented it basically because he thought that the Chinese alphabet is too complicated because Korea used to use the Chinese alphabet and he thought it was elitist, so he wanted an alphabet for common people. So he created Hangul, and it's quite simple to learn. Like this is the oops. So this is the Korean textbook I used for my Korean Saturday school. It's by Seoul National University, by the way. And yeah, the first 2 weeks we spent on Hangul. Now we've moved on to something else because it's not that hard actually to learn Hangul. You can actually learn it on your own for the most part. It's just a couple of words, a couple of characters that kind of worded me out. Rustam, do you watch dramas? Yeah, the thing I watched on Netflix usually is K-dramas, Korean dramas for fun. Right now I'm watching a melodrama called Queen of Tears, which is about a divorced Korean couple who are getting back together. Uh, and RW, yeah, so almost nowadays, whenever I watch a TV show, it's almost always Korean. NRWT, why is North Korea the worst country in the world? Because North Korea is the most totalitarian country in the world. Like the state controls everything. Yeah, and it's worse than Eritrea because Eritrea is also a totalitarian state, but North Korea is really competent at it. So very few people manage to get out of North Korea alive. That's not true with Eritrea. A lot of people have actually managed to escape, but not in North Korea. So yeah, and they have this horrible class feudal system where you have three levels of people. Where one level is those who fought for the North Korea in the Korean War. Another level is those who were neutral in the Korean War, and another level is those who have relatives in South Korea. So yeah, you have systematic discrimination of a gigantic part of the population. Also, a lot of people are malnourished in North Korea, and what is it? 1% of the population or so, about couple 100,000, 300,000 people are in concentration camps all their lives. If you try to escape from North Korea, they throw your whole family in a concentration camp. So yeah. Uh, Rustam, uh, Russo-Ukrainian war is just a proxy war between North and South Korea. Smiley face. Yeah, but not only North Korea wants to engage in such a proxy war. South Korea, I'm sure, just thinks it's dumb, and the North Koreans are acting dumb again. North Korea is kind of a joke in some aspects for the South Koreans because South Koreans are prospering, and then you have this crazy loudspeaker at the other end of the border. Rustam proxy and NRWT. My my family grew up in a socialist state, DDR, and all say they lived well. Yeah, well, the difference is that you also had a different level of poverty in totalitarian states or in socialist states. So if you look at how rich countries were in Eastern Europe, for example, like East Germany, they still had a lot of the knowledge and capital from before World War II because Germany was already an industrialized modern state. And so, and for a socialist state, I would say that the DDR was relatively competent compared to other governments. So, yeah, they were developed before they became socialist. So that's why the standard of living might have been okay. Yeah. But North Korea, they used to be richer than South Korea actually in the 60s, but now they're among the poorest countries in the world. And yeah. Yeah, so I'm not saying that everyone starves in all socialist states, and famines for the most part don't happen all the time in communist states. There's just a few periods. But yeah, the DDR was brutal, but they were not starving. But a lot of famines happen in communist states, like Maoist China or Stalin's Soviet Union, or North Korea actually had a famine in the 90s because the Soviet Union and China stopped giving them a bunch of free stuff. Okay. NRWT, some are even nostalgic, but not all, of course. Yeah, yeah. I mean, East Germans, for the most part, were very happy to reunite with West Germany. But unfortunately for North Korea now, so the gap between East and West Germany is a lot less in development than the gap between North and South Korea. I mean, it's not comparable. Um, so it's gonna be hard for North and South Korea to reunite, or I think it's gonna happen probably in the coming century, but it's gonna be a lot more complicated than it was for East and West Germany. Also, East Germany had some experience of democracy. North Koreans has never had any experience of democracy. Um, wait, NRWT. Well, if I had to choose, I would choose North Korea and Afghanistan, for instance. Well, that's the thing. There are two classes of horrible countries. You have the totalitarian states or relatively totalitarian states, um, like, yeah, like North Korea, like Eritrea, like kind of Turkmenistan. But then you have the countries who are in constant bloody war. Those are also horrible countries to live in. So, yeah, pick your poison. Do you want to be in a constant brutal war where everyone's dying, or do you want to be choked to death by governments? Yeah. So, yeah, the Wi-Fi seems. I don't know. I'm not sure if the Wi-Fi works still. It's acting weird in my page, but maybe it's fine. Hopefully it is. So. Yeah. Rustam, Gaza is a bad example of countries to compare with recognized independent states. Yeah, that's true. Well, Gaza was kind of an independent country in practice, once Israel withdrew from Gaza in the mid 2000s, and now they're losing their independence with Israel invading it. So yeah, but yeah, Gaza is maybe a bad example since they're more an occupied territory than a country. NRW2, Rustam, very true. NRW2, take Sudan or DR of Congo. Oh yeah, Sudan is horrible. I've read about the genocide in Darfur. That's just brutal, and they're just slaughtering people indiscriminately. I've seen a movie about it also, which fictionizes kind of thing, but it fictionizes kind of it, but yeah, it's just horrible. So, but the Democratic Republic of Congo, yes, it's a really bad country, but it's also kind of democratic. So, yeah, it's really poor. But at least the government is not that oppressive. But there are local governments that are really oppressive. So yeah, it's hard to pick what's the worst country. It depends by which criteria. You can have the worst country by the criteria of most authoritarian, or you can have the criteria of your worst country by poorest. If you pick poorest, then the worst countries are, of course, in Africa. If you pick totalitarian, then the worst country is North Korea. Um, NRW2 or any country with warlords. Yeah, a lot of countries with warlords are bad. Um, Hopefully, people still hear me. I only have one viewer. Maybe they'll come back. Um, and failed state NRWT. Decentralized Decentralized Gaming. Hey mate, any books on warfare you recommend? Um, I mean, if you want a detailed understanding of why the Allies won World War II, then you should read Blood and Iron by Richard Overy. That's a good book, but I don't know that much. It's a really detailed book, so it's a bit boring at times. But yeah, it has a really good analysis on World War II. And if you want another good book on warfare, yeah, I actually don't read that much on war specifically in general, so I don't know that much to recommend. Rustam, is DDR a Soviet Germany? Yeah, it was basically a puppet state, so it was not a real country. It was just a Soviet province, outer province, I would say. But it was certainly richer than Soviet Union. Hopefully, people still can hear me. Can anyone let me know if they can still hear me, or am I talking alone here? Because according to this house, I'm connected to the Wi-Fi, but I only have one view. Oh, okay, Rustam is here. Yeah, that's good. Uh, yeah. Okay, I'm guessing the what I'm seeing on my screen is not coherent. It just says that there's one or two viewers, so I'm guessing it's gets the numbers wrong or whatever. But good if the Wi-Fi has the Wi-Fi has the in have you heard everything I've said so far in this live stream? That's a question I have. Um, Hopefully you have, because it's a bit annoying if I'm cutting in and out. Um, Rustam, I would work for work in Stasi. Yeah, I'm happy the Stasi doesn't exist anymore. Well, there are plenty of similar places you could work, like in the Stasi, around the world. Yeah. Yeah, but I would not want to work on the Stasi. And you also had a lot of rats in East Germany, a lot of collaborators. So, and they opened the files. So, yeah, a lot of people found out in East Germany that their spouses or their friends had been telling on them. So, yeah. Decentralized gaming, you're fine for me. Good, fine. NRWT, I feel like decentralized gaming, yes, tiny lagging, but not massive disruption. Okay, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, I picked to do the live stream here. I could have done it in the Netherlands, but then I don't want to bother my neighbor, and yeah, the Wi-Fi connection there is not as stable as here. So I hope it's relatively stable here. NRW2, I feel like socialist states, even if it's totalitarian, can be a desirable situation if you have you're a third world country. DR Congo has no leeway to act against the plundering of the resources. Well, I don't think a totalitarian state is ever necessary. Like if you look at the really successful modernization projects, they were authoritarian states like Taiwan, um, under Chiang Kai-shek. You had South Korea under Park Chung-hee, China under Deng Xiaoping, Jiang Zemin, and Hu Jintao. These are authoritarian states that modernized, but they were not totalitarian. When you had totalitarianism under Mao or under Stalin, you may have had some modernization, but at the price of famines that killed millions and millions of people and a ton of innocent people executed. So no, I don't think that totalitarianism is ever morally justified. I can understand why we have to work with them sometimes, like we worked with the Soviet Union during World War II. But no, I don't think totalitarianism can ever be justified. And for example, in Ethiopia now you have, yeah, I know you've had some war, but I think that's still better than the mass famine under the communist of Mengistu in the 1980s. Yeah, I don't, but yeah, I can understand why sometimes an authoritarian state is at least better temporarily than democratic anarchy. Like Singapore, yeah, Singapore is a lot nicer country to live in than Iraq, even though Iraq is a lot more democratic. NRWT with strong hierarchy, they would be more efficient. Well, that depends. It depends. No, not necessarily strong hierarchy. They would be more efficient. Like you had strong hierarchy in South Korea, but it was not as strong as in North Korea because it's a decentralized, not decentralized, indirect system of authoritarianism. So if you look at the state-led capitalism or guided capitalism that you had under Park Chung-hee in South Korea, it was that, okay, I'm giving these objectives to the government, to these companies, they try to reach them, but I'm not going to micromanage them. While the North Korea tries to micromanage the means of production, and North Korea is poor, South Korea got rich. So you can have government involvement can be good maybe for economic development, but not too much, not a rigid hierarchy. Hierarchies are not always efficient. I mean, that's why Nazi Germany hit the wall in World War II or the Soviet Union collapsed because they had rigid hierarchies. Decentralized gaming, thoughts on US politics and elections. Are people outside US afraid or nervous? Okay, so I'm gonna take the second question first. Are people outside US afraid or nervous? Yeah, yeah. I went to a think tank in the Netherlands recently, and yeah, a lot of people are really worried for the world if Trump wins because they think it's gonna create disruptions, wars, whatever. Um, so my thoughts on politics and elections. So I'm gonna be open. So right now, I prefer Kamala Harris to win. Not because I like her. She's a statist, politically correct person who says a bunch of word salad constantly. But my problem with Trump is that he's a protectionist. So his allies don't trust him because he's unreliable. He changes his mind all the time. He's fickle. Um, Also, the way he's talked about the US Constitution makes me uncomfortable. When he lost the election, he said like, "Oh, now the US Constitution doesn't matter anymore." He also thinks that America is in decay, which it's not true. America is the currently the most prosperous country, the country that in the West that has the best economic development, pretty much. Europe is kind of stagnating, but the United States is actually doing pretty well under Biden. So yeah, so I'm hoping that Kamala wins. It looks likely that Trump will win. Like my father does financial analysis, and he has to, among those things, and among his finance job, he has to predict the U.S. election or give the most likely outcome. And yeah, he thinks it's highly likely that Trump will win. He thinks that things are gonna be relatively fine. That like tendencies that are bad for the West are gonna accelerate, but it's not gonna be a huge difference between Kamala and Trump. So yeah, we'll see. Yeah, so those are my thoughts on the US election. I hope Kamala Harris wins, but I don't think it will be at the end of the world if Trump wins. And yeah, there's a small risk of a lot of bad things happening if Trump wins, like an economic recession because no one trusts him to repay the American debt, or he just does too much deficit spending, and protectionism, so you could have a repeat of the Great Depression. But probably things are gonna be okay or poor. Like, I see the world as kind of stagnating nowadays or slightly declining, or well, it depends different part of the which part of the world. Global poverty rates are still going down overall every day. So, but I think the West is gonna slightly decline or stagnate because of the statist tendencies nowadays, especially in Europe. I think the United States is still gonna continue to grow slightly. I really pray to God that we don't have a recession, because that would be bad. I don't want to become a lost generation like the people born in the 1920s and 30s. Feyu, hey, I've never seen you in a live stream before. Welcome. Welcome to the 1000 subscriber live stream. And I've set this live stream so that only subscribers can join. So thank you everyone for subscribing to this channel. This growth has been amazing. Like, let's see how much I grew in subscribers. So I have a Google spreadsheet where I keep counts of the number of subscribers I have. I stopped keeping count once I reached 1,000, but in the first 20 days of October alone, I got 38 subscribers. So thank you for that. By the way, I'm curious, everyone who's watching this, when did you subscribe to this channel? NRWT, US elections don't matter. Well, it depends which ones, but these do, because yeah, things are gonna become a bit more unstable if Trump wins, probably. And people, if because how am I gonna express this? People trust more Harris than Trump in the international world. So if Trump gets elected, a lot more countries are gonna become closer to Russia and China because they view the United States as unreliable. That's gonna happen anyways if Kamala is getting elected, but it's gonna happen more with Trump because no one trusts Trump. Because Trump has shown a very strong hate for anything not the United States, and he denigrates allies all the time. And our ability says Larry Fink. Who's Larry? Is that his name, Larry Fink? I've never heard of him before. Maybe I'm gonna look him up. I'll open a little Google document here, so I have him here. Okay. And you have battery on this computer. The good thing. Oh, the CEO of BlackRock. Oh yeah, I know he's hated. Everyone hates BlackRock because they own all the soda companies that are making us unhealthy and the processed food or whatever. Um, yeah. Rustam, totalitarian regimes are great for individuals. Mao used to invite virgin girls to have fun with them. I'm sure Kim does similar things. Well, the thing with the dictatorship is that the dictator is kind of free, but no one else is. And maybe the dictator's family, but no, even for the dictators, it's not great. I mean, can you imagine being a dictator of a country, especially a totalitarian state, and having to second guess everyone around you that they're gonna betray you and have to worry that they're gonna kill you or overthrow you? That would be horrible. I don't want to be in Putin's shoes. Look at how terrified he looks when he has someone sitting across his far table. Democratic leaders can relax a lot more than dictators because if you lose an election, you leave office. If you lose in a dictatorship, well, you can be thrown to prison or executed or even tortured to death. So yeah, no, I wouldn't say that totalitarian regimes are great for individuals. They can be very lucrative for individuals, like what is it, Kim Jong-il buying all that cognac or cheese from Switzerland. Yeah, or you can make a lot of money in authoritarian regimes like Mobutu did in the DRC or Suharto did in Indonesia. They stole billions. So yeah, it can be very lucrative, but I wouldn't say it's great. Is it really worth it making that much money if the end result is likely prison or death? Yeah. And also everyone hating you because you're a monster. Feyu, have you read Crime and Punishment? No, I have actually not read it. I thought of reading a Fyodor Dostoevsky sometime, but no, I haven't. It's also a really big book. I've heard it's also very dark and very negative about Russia. So it's probably an interesting book. I know that Jordan Peterson loves that book for some reason, but no, I haven't read Crime and Punishment. I don't know if I will. Maybe when I have more energy, because now my reading energy is decreasing quite a bit because of university and whatnot, and me having a social life. But maybe I'll read it eventually. Maybe I'll have a literary fiction phase where I want to read the classics eventually. Rustam, Democrats are just clowns. Iranian proxies attack American bases, and Biden does nothing in response. I think that Trump is just better in foreign policy. Well, The thing with Trump is that he destroyed basically every achievement of Obama in foreign policy. So the Iran nuclear deal that Obama did kind of contained Iran so they would stop developing nuclear weapons. I actually have thought about that. Maybe if the Iran nuclear deal was still around, maybe you wouldn't have the war in Gaza. That's just a hypothetical for me. But yeah, so he destroyed that and antagonized Iran and made them more radical. What else did he do? Oh yeah, he destroyed the TPP. The TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, was a trade deal specifically made to counter China by having the United States allied and making trade deals with Southeast Asia. But Trump scrapped that because, yeah, stealing American jobs or whatever. And now the China signed on to that, and that was a thing that was designed to balance against China turned into China's favor because of Trump. So yeah, I don't think Trump is better in foreign policy. Also, Trump is likely to cut aid to Ukraine, as are the Republicans if he gets elected. So yeah, I don't want Ukraine to be taken over by Russia. They won't get taken over, but I think it's better for the West and the world in general if Harris wins instead of Trump, because I think the Democrats overall are gonna be better at keeping Russia in their place or keeping them a bit more level-headed. But that's my view of it. Say, Party Face, thanks. Decentralized Gaming, earlier this year I subscribed to you from your reviews on Peter Sehan, Accidental Super Pro. Oh yeah, thank you for that. Um, oh yeah, I'm gonna say this now. If you might have noticed that recently I privated a few of my videos, including the Accidental Superpower review. So the reason I did that is that some of the views I've expressed in earlier videos, I now changed profoundly on them, so I don't want to give misrepresentation of my current views overall in international relations. So I privated a couple of Peter Zian videos, a John Mersheimer video, yeah, and a couple other videos. So yeah, if you want to know, that's why those videos suddenly disappeared. Yeah, because I said a couple of dumb things in those videos, like calling the made like saying that Mersheimer called the Euromaidan revolution in 2014 in Ukraine a EU coup, but it's not a coup, it's a democratic revolution. So yeah. Does anyone, by the way, have any other questions for me? You can just ask me anything about my views or what I like to do for fun or yeah. Yeah, I don't have a specific time frame for how long this live stream is gonna last. It can last however long you guys want to, basically. Yeah. Okay, so did I have anything else that I got here? That I want... Oh yeah, I got a cup. So talking about K-dramas earlier, they're releasing a new season of Squid Game right now, so in a couple months. So I got this cup of the front man from Squid Game. So now I have another Korean mug. This is my fourth Korean mug now. So yeah. Do I have anything else in here? I don't think so. Let's see. Yeah. So yeah, thank you for joining this live stream. Oh yeah, I should probably talk about the future of this YouTube channel. Oh, Rustam, I am in Kazakhstan right now and it's already late here. I have to leave the stream. I wish you success. Yeah, thanks Rustam for joining the live stream. I see you at uni in a couple of weeks. Me and him are doing the same international relations minor actually, and we're gonna do a environmental history course soon about international relations. So bye, Rustam. Thanks for joining. Um, so let's talk about this future for the channel. So for now, in the foreseeable future, there's probably gonna continue to be one video a month. You can expect probably less geopolitical reviews over time because I have less energy to. I'm just reading less books and less geopolitics books nowadays. So this year so far I've read 31 books. Last year it was 55. My peak year in 2020 was 87 books. And I'm reading a lot of more history books. I've developed a special interest in reading about East Asian history. So you can probably expect a lot of reading wrap-ups. I'm gonna try to make as many book reviews as possible. There's a Robert Kaplan book I hope to review sometime soon, but we'll see if I have the time. My reading, my university workload this block is gonna be a lot more. I'm gonna have to read about 110 pages every week now, so I'm gonna have less time to read stuff for my free time. And I also have to think about my bachelor thesis and things like that. But oh yeah, for those who didn't know, so I'm doing the a 3-year history bachelor, and this is my third and final year. After that, I'm probably gonna do history and modern history and international relations masters, and then I hopefully I can do a PhD. If I'm lucky, it will be in the United States. Otherwise, it might be in Canada. So yeah, that's me. By the way, for those people who are watching, I'm curious, where are you? Which country are you watching from? Because my stats in my YouTube analytics have shown me that I get a lot of American viewers, but I also get a few people that view me from India also and Pakistan for some reason. So mainly the Anglosphere, but I'm sure I have people from around the world, but I don't have enough data. So where are the people from that are watching this? I'm curious. Yeah. Uh, s- so I'll give a minute or two for that. By the way, is there any type of video anyone would be interested, any video ideas someone would be interested to see me making a video about some book related topic? Because I know the formula has been mainly book reviews and recently um, wrap-ups. I've also done some listicles. So are there any book related videos that someone would be interested in me making? I might be open to that. Yeah. And yeah. And as I've said, right now I'm reading House of Cards by Michael Dobbs, which is a British political thriller, but it's the basis for the American political thriller series, also called House of Cards with Kevin Spacey. And that's the only thing I got I'm reading right now, apart from Foreign Affairs. I also got to drink some boba tea at back, so that was fun. But if nobody has any more questions, I might leave the um and the live stream soon. But thank you everyone who managed to make it to the live stream. I know that I'm streaming from Belgium, but I know that the times everyone can be watching, the time zones they're watching from can be a bit different. And I know it's also here it's Sunday evening in Belgium. So yeah. So yeah, I'll give everyone a couple minutes and then I might end the live stream. That's okay with everyone? Yeah. So yeah. Did I have anything else in here? Let's see. I wanted to show. No, I don't think so. Eh, I don't seem to be getting any more questions, so that's fine. I'm not sure when the next live stream will be. Yeah, this was a 1,000 subscriber special. It's been over a year since the last live stream. We'll see. Maybe you wanna let me know if you wanna see more live streams like this. Doesn't really matter how long they are, and it's a good opportunity for community building. Also, this is remember I have a Discord for those who wanna join that for more interactive stuff with me. There's a link of my Discord server that I've created for this YouTube channel in on the on my YouTube channel page, so you can check that out. And also have a Goodreads page is if anyone is interested in seeing what I don't have live updates of what I'm reading right now, but if you want to see what I've read recently. Luis Gomez, one question. Did you read The American Prometheus, The Triumph and Tragedy of J. Robert Oppenheimer? No, I haven't read that actually, that biography. I know they made a movie into it. I haven't seen that movie with the guy from Piketty. Peaky Blinders either. The closest I've read this book is I've seen a clip of Harry Truman insulting J. Robert Oppenheimer, but no, I haven't read that book, Prometheus. Yeah. By the way, on my Goodreads page, I've basically cataloged every book I've read since 2019 on there, if anyone's curious to see. There's a couple of books that are missing on Goodreads that I couldn't put on there, but yeah, every book I've read is on there. I've also written a lot of reviews there. Oh, and here's a fun fact. For some reason, the author of Dictatorland, Paul Kenyon, asked me to be friends on Goodreads, so he's my Goodreads friends. I don't know him, I've never seen him in real life, but that's pretty cool that I'm Goodreads friend with an actual historian and author. He wrote Dictatorland, which is about a bunch of African dictators, including Mugabe and Mobutu and Afwekis in Eritrea. He also wrote a recent history book about modern Romania called Children of the Night. That Luis Gomez, yes, I prefer read the book before watching the movie. Yeah, I'm actually there's some books I watched the movie before reading them, but yeah, I've tried with some books to read them before watching the movie. What's an example of? Oh yeah, for example, a book I read before watching the movie was Munich by Robert Harris, which is about a novel about the Munich conference between Hitler and Chamberlain, and you had some intriguing trying to start a coup against Hitler. So I read the book before the movie. The movie was decent. It was interesting. You had an actor from Inglourious Bastard in it, but yeah, I liked that book a lot. Uh, yeah, oh yeah, there's a few Stephen King books I probably read before watching the movie, or there's a bunch of Stephen King books I've actually read but I haven't seen the movie. But I actually saw The Shining before reading the book. Same thing when it's with its sequel, Doctor Sleep. Yeah, and but yeah, reading the book before watching the movie, if you can resist the urge, that's usually the better option. But sometimes I don't want to bother with reading the book, so I'll just watch the movie instead. Also, it's quicker, but I can understand why you won't prefer the book. Also, the book is more developed, better characters. Often movies just bastardize books, unfortunately. So yeah, Luis Gomez. In this case, I watched the movie, but I find the book in my country. Oh yeah, Luis Gomez. I'm curious, where are you watching from? Yeah, I can understand that sometimes you can't find the book. Yeah. And sometimes the book a movie is based on is really old and arcane and it's just oh, Colombia. Oh, that's cool. You're watching from Colombia. Sometimes the movies that are based on books, the movie is actually better and more entertaining than the book. So, for example, I watched the movie The Great Gatsby a very long time ago, and I liked that movie. But then I read the book a few years ago, and even though it's short, it's just such dry and boring, and it has the most anticlimactic death and dull death I've ever read in a novel. So yeah. So yeah. But thanks for joining Luis Gomez. I don't think I've seen you in my comments before. I don't think I'm confusing you with someone else. There's actually another Luis that subscribed to this channel. I think he's from Brazil, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So I have a couple Lewises that are subscribed to me at least. I didn't realize that I had several people from South America watching me, so that's pretty cool. Yeah. It would be interesting to do a survey of where everyone is watching me from, but yeah, there's not enough viewer interaction for that to be possible. So maybe in the future if I have more subscribers. But yeah. By the way, if anyone would ever be think what international relations magazine you should read, this comes out bi-monthly, Foreign Affairs. I mean, it's American foreign policy. I've been reading this for about a year. I actually got a subscription recently, so as a Christmas gift. So I got this delivered in the mail on the 1st of November. Luis Gomez, yes, I watch your videos, but my English is bad. Yeah, well, that's okay. Yeah. I'm glad that you hopefully you can understand what I'm saying. I know I'm not very good at articulating always my thoughts in videos, that I sort of ramble. When I produce videos, I actually have to repeat myself several times because I have to um, enunciate, make my sentences clearer, and I struggle a little with that. So when I talk to people, sometimes they actually have to ask me a couple of times what I said. So yeah, if you don't understand me at times, that might be my fault at times. And I can understand that. I'm a bit too lazy sometimes with re-recording certain sections of my videos and just let them play out, even though the how I express myself kind of sucks sometimes. So yeah, but it's good that you're making the effort to watch videos in English, even if it's not your best language. English is technically my third language, but it's my strongest language. And as I've said, I live in the Netherlands, but I'm lazy, so I haven't taken the time to learn Dutch. I probably never will. Right now, I'm trying to learn Korean. Am I ever gonna get good at it? Hopefully, I am, but I don't know. I mean, I did take a couple years Italian. I've almost forgotten all of it because I'm not using it. So, yeah, and it's also very good to learn English just in general because it's the most important language, and I love the English language. So one of the reasons I want to live in the United States because you have so much opportunity there, and a lot of great books are actually written in English. And because you have so many English speakers, that's the biggest book market you basically have of educated people, at least the English book markets. Yeah. But the good thing is that a lot of books are translated into other languages. So if you struggle with English, I'm sure I'm certain there's Spanish translations. I mean, I'm sure there's a huge translated Spanish book market in South America. So yeah. Okay. So I want to thank everyone again for watching this live stream. Um, you can let me know later in other videos or in the comment section of this video later if you would want me to make another live stream um, in the future. And thanks everyone for joining me. I'm probably gonna end the live stream pretty soon. Gonna give it another, or you know what? Just gonna try to ramble on off the cuff until this gets to 1 hour. Let's see, what else should I talk about? Oh yeah, I've written a recent. Oh, this is a fun thing. I might get published soon. So I recently wrote an article for one of my courses, which is about the end of Nagorno-Karabakh, about Armenian foreign policy from 2020 to 2023. So one of my pet obsessions in recent years has been the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict, which has been Luis Gomez. Yes, read books in English, but I would like about Churchill, Robert Harris. Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Robert Harris is a great author. I know that Churchill has written a bunch of history books. I'm not sure how objective they are, but they have a great reputation, I've heard. Um, but yeah, I might get published because I wrote recently an article about Armenian foreign policy from 2020 to 2023 related to Nagorno-Karabakh and Azerbaijan, because between 2020 and 2023, Azerbaijan launched a couple of wars to reconquer Nagorno-Karabakh, which legally is part of Azerbaijan, but has historically been majority ethnically Armenian. And in 2023, Artsakh or Nagorno-Karabakh, as an independent republic aligned with Armenia, or aligned with Armenia, dissolved, and now it's completely part of Azerbaijan. And why did Armenia fail to protect Nagorno-Karabakh? Well, it relied on Russia, on Russia's derivative power as a great power. So, yeah, Russia has been the security guarantor in the last 30 years for Armenia, basically. But yeah, it probably did some backroom deals with Azerbaijan, and it's kind of friendly with Azerbaijan. So it basically let Azerbaijan start a war in Nagorno-Karabakh in 2020, retake 75% of the territory, and then they launched another offensive in 2023 where Armenia didn't bother to intervene anymore because they'd withdrawn their armed forces from Nagorno-Karabakh under the trilateral agreement in 2020. So Azerbaijan has reconquered all of Karabakh now. The over 100,000 ethnic Armenians have now left Nagorno-Karabakh and moved to Armenia because they're afraid of ethnic cleansing. I'm not sure how big the risk was of ethnic cleansing, but Nagorno-Karabakh was relatively democratic, and they don't want to be under the dictatorship of the dynasty of Aliyev, which has been in power, that political dynasty, now for 30 years or so. First under their father for 10 years, and now in the past 20 years, it's been under the power of Ilham Aliyev. So yeah, so I've sent that into some local think tank to get it published. So hopefully I'll get it published. I wrote another article which is about African colonial forced labor in the 1930s, which I'm trying to get published with my honors student journal. So hopefully that might get published. So yeah, I might actually be a kind of a published author soon. It won't be copyrighted, but yeah, that's fun. Um, if I get published online, maybe I'll share what I've written on this channel. I'll send a link if you're interested to read my stuff. Or like you can ask me about certain topics, and I actually have papers you can read if you're interested. Actually, research papers related to history and international relations. Like I wrote a couple years ago, 2, 3 years ago, for example, about Finland wanting to join NATO, the NATO debate there. What else did I write? Um, yeah, I've written a big paper a couple years ago about the who has more legitimacy over Nagorno-Karabakh. I've written recently, what else? Yeah, I've written a bunch of interesting stuff since coming to university mainly. Yeah, so yeah. But thank you everyone for joining. I think I will be ending the live stream now if no one has anything to say. Um, Thanks for 1,000 subscribers. Again, the next video will come out towards the end of this month. Infinitable, thanks for informative video. I found your channel. Thanks for the informative videos. Infinitable, I found your channel through Thomas Sowell. Oh, thank you. Yeah, a lot of my best viewed videos are Thomas Sowell, and I love Thomas Sowell as an economist. He's my favorite nonfiction author. Although since I've read now 12 books of him, I haven't read any book by him now in the past year or so, and I don't know if I'll read another book by him in the future because he's a bit repetitive at times, and I've read so much about him. So now I'm gonna move on to other authors probably. So yeah, I'm also giving a go now to left-wing economics because, as I've said, I'm a moderate libertarian. Um, I kind of identify probably with the Chicago School of Economics. I'm not sure if I'm an Austrian anymore. I would probably say I'm part of the Chicago School of Economics nowadays. Let's say that. But I'm open-minded, so I want to read other political views. This year I've read 2 books by Ha-Joon Chan, which is a South Korean left-wing economist. I've read, what is it, 23 Things They Don't Tell You About Capitalism and Bad Samaritans. So yeah, you can expect more left-wing economics books that I'm gonna talk about in my reading wrap-ups. Thanks again for watching, everyone. Oh, I've got a bunch of new viewers I've seen. So I've got Infinitable, Lewis, Rustam, Decentralized Gaming, Fayu, and NRWT. You are all new viewers. All the new viewers who have watched, I believe, haven't ever joined these live streams before, although it's been well over a year since the last live stream. So thank you everyone for watching. And I'm the Avid Reader, and I will see you readers next time. Goodbye. Have a nice, well, it's Halloween just ended, but yeah, have a nice end of weekend. It's 9 here in Belgium. Or yeah. Goodbye, everyone. Have a nice day. Uh, yeah. And stream studio.